Hello. I wanted to take a minute to talk about lot attributes as it relates to raw material ingredients for food companies using VicinityFood. More specifically, we're talking about situations where you have a raw material, let's say that you purchase it from a supplier, and they provide some information that you want to track in against that specific lot. In other words, the information being sent varies slightly from lot to lot to lot, and you want to be able to track that. Here's an example of one. I've got an ingredient with a lot number, and I've got 3 pieces of information. It happens to all be numeric values here that is coming off of, let's say, a C of A coming in. Could also be text values and dates and things like that, but I can track any data that I want to about that lot. So a different lot would have different values, etc. Now, one of the benefits in being able to track this information is that you could generate a certificate of analysis. Let's say somebody turns around and buys this raw material from us and we go ahead and ship it to them. We can generate a certificate of analysis off of that using this data and put it on our letterhead. So that's a kind of a nice thing to have for those folks that aren't going full-blown quality within Vicinity. The other advantage to this is in production. When I am determining what lots I need to put into production, I can see this quality data as well, or these attributes as well. So in this case, I've got this ingredient, and let's say that I'm trying to identify which lot to use. I'm now able to see those values right in the lot selection, so it would help me determine which lot I'm going to be putting in this batch, because it might have some effect on the lot if it has more or less solids or bricks or pH or whatever. So it gives me good insight without having to go anywhere to go see this data that I'm tracking. Again, this looks largely like quality data, but it could be really any data that you want to track. Now, we actually have a lot of clients that actually do use our quality functionality. In other words, they receive raw material in and they do QC tests on that inbound raw material. So in this case, I'll just simulate that. They can use this scenario as well. So for example, I'm going to pull up that lot that we purchased, and here's a test that I've established for this item. Every time I purchase this item or bring that lot in, I want to track the bricks value on that. And I can sit here and I can key this value of whatever the number I might want to enter as my tested value, or maybe I pick it up off their C of A. But the point here is that I am recording quality sample data to satisfy and to use the quality functionality within Vicinity. Now, with that said, all this information can post back or update the component lot data we were just talking about. So I don't have to go back to the screen to enter this data again, because it was already just put into my my quality entry data. So when I do that, I end up getting my values populated directly from my quality values, or I can come in here and type it manually. Now let me show you how this is set up. So an attribute is actually a user-defined field. It can be really almost any data type. It's numeric and text and dates and etc. So it's got a lot of flexibility as it relates to the data types. So this is the ingredient that we set up, and there's a section to component setup that allows me to identify raw material values or user-defined values. Now, this whole list I'm scrolling through are all the attributes I've created in my demo environment over the years. But in this case, what I've got is some raw material information, and I have marked solids, bricks, and pH as values that I like to associate with this individual item. Now, everything I would put here is for the item specifically, it's just no lot, but just at the item at the master level. However, what I can also do is come in and enable attributes on the component lots. That means that for every lot, these values could change. And that's what you saw when we were in component lot data, and we picked it up for this particular lot right here. That's how they showed up on this screen, is against the component, against the inventory item. I went down to my attributes and I marked them, and I came in and said enable attribute on component lots. That's what put it on that screen. Now I'm going to take this one step further. I also talked about how I could enter quality values in our quality sample entry screen and have it update the component lot screen as well. That is done, here's the bricks item, that is done here when I connect a QC test to this lot attribute, which is right here. It happens to be the same name, but it doesn't have to be. I could have a QC test, so when I set up quality, for all those folks that use quality within Vicinity Food, I've identified this is a QC test that I want run for every lot that I do tests on. That's how that got there. So I identified this QC test, and now I can associate it with this attribute. That's the connection between quality and the lot attributes. The nice part about this design is that I don't actually have to use quality if I don't want to, but if I am using quality, I automatically get this. So the component lot data is there so that you can record any data on a lot by lot basis, numeric, date, text. You can track any of that kind of data that you want to against a lot, generate reports like a C of A, or see all this data in lot selection during batch entry. Anyway, great amount of flexibility, especially when you're wanting to start tracking information on a lot basis, maybe or maybe not quality type of data. We hope this helps. If you have any further questions on Vicinity Food, let us know. Thanks a lot.